Welcome to the Wrestling Analyst podcast, Beyond the Bell, where the real story begins after the final bell. I'm your host, Night Stalker Luc Baudier, and together we'll break down the week's biggest moments, analyze storylines, and bring you opinions that hit harder than the steel chair. We will also explore how I would be booking a storyline if I were head of creative. Because here, every match tells a story, and we're here to break it down. So hit subscribe, leave a like, and click that notification bell, and let's go beyond the bell. Okay, so the weekend review. Let's start with Monday Night Raw. Penta and Rusev battled to a no contest due to an interference from Los Americanos. So both will face Dominic Mysterio at Saturday night's main event for the Intercontinental title. Now, Dom didn't want to face either of them again for the titles, but I think for Dom it's the best outcome he can have because, I will talk about that on my preview and interactions segment, but I think Dom is going to retain at Saturday night main event. Roxanne Perez versus Nikki Bella. Now, I'm going to express an unpopular opinion right here, but why the hell is Nikki Bella in WWE right now? You can clearly see that she's not on the same level as the other women on Raw right now. And it's obvious to anyone that Nikki Bella is going to turn on Vaquera at a certain point to set up a title match for Nikki, which she doesn't deserve at all. Maybe for her career, yes, she deserves it, but I mean, there's a lot better wrestlers right now in WWE. They don't need Nikki Bella. Ron Breakker gets a win over LA Knight. Now, this sets up an interference from Division in the World title match on Saturday. There won't be a champion at Saturday night's main event, in my opinion. If there is, it's probably going to be CM Punk. And another unpopular opinion, you're going to hate me for that, but LA Knight, I don't think is main event material right now. He's got charisma and everything, but he needs to have more, how do you say that? More obstacles on his way again to the world title. JD McDonough and Sheamus. What a win for JD, even if it was with Finn's help. It's going to set up a rematch for the tag titles, but I don't see them winning them back. I think, I said that last week. I think Dom and Finn Balor should get into a feud for the IC title, and just take a look at my video, Finn Balor's future baby face turn, to see how I envision it. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defeat Lyra, Valkyria, and Bayley in what was the best match of the evening. And after the match, Kabuki Warriors attack the champions and Lyra, but don't touch Bayley at all. Now, that's an interesting point. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks on that. And Kabuki Warriors are going after the tag titles because Rhea's injury, like I said, I think last week, Rhea's injury is putting that feud, Kabuki Warriors, Io Sky, Rhea, on the ice right now. So that's it for the weekend review on Raw. So let's jump to NXT. Now, Axiom and Jasper Troy face each other for the Speed #1 contender title tournament. Jasper Troy wins and will face El Grande Americano for the title. That doesn't mean anything in my view. I said it. The speed titles, they were made for Twitter, and now their contract with Twitter is ended. So WWE has a history of bringing in and fading out titles. Well, that's exactly what I think should happen with the speed titles. Those titles don't mean anything. Tatum Paxley comes in to celebrate her victory and says she wants to be a fighting champion. And she said she was missing something from Halloween Havoc, which was spin the wheel. So she goes spin the wheel with opponents on him, and she lands on Lola Vice. So later on, it was Tatum versus Lola Vice, and it was a no contest because of the interference of Fatal Influence. So probably JC Jane wants her title back, but there's more to it on this. I think I'm going to make it my booking room segment for next week, the NXT Women's Championship. Tavion High, well, there was Lash Legend versus Kendall Gray for the Evolve Women's Championship. Now, Lash dominated the match, but she got caught in shades of gray, and Kendall Gray retains her title. Tavion Heights versus Miles Bourne. So that's a match between two former members of NQCC. And Bourne wins the match. But after the match, Trick Williams comes in the ring and he says he wants his title back. Jordan Grace versus Kalani Jordan for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Kalani Jordan is turning more and more heel. And why is that? Is that, well, she got kicked out of the NXT locker room after leading the TNA team, women's team. So she's turning more heel, and I think that's good for her persona because Kalani was missing something, and that heel run is going to be what is going to be the last thing for her to do before getting a call-up. My opinion. And Ricky Saints, Trick Williams fought for almost the whole program, and they're going to face each other down the road. I think it's in 2 weeks that they're going to face each other for the title. So that's it for NXT. So as for SmackDown last night, it started with a segment, but I won't go into that too much. U.S. Championship Open Challenge, Ilya Dragunov versus Nathan Frazer. Now, I think Ilya could have a long title reign, giving the U.S. title the respect and prestige it deserves. But what we saw afterwards backstage with Tama Tonga looking at the title after the brawl finish with Ciampa and the DIY with Axiom and Dragunov all embroiled in there. And I think Tommaso Ciampa is going to get the shot next week. Nathan Frazer looked very good in this match. At one point, there was a scary bump, a very scary bump. I thought he landed right on his neck, and I hope Frazer is okay because that was a nasty, nasty bump. Kit Wilson versus Carmelo Hayes. Now, that match was just to further on The Miz and Carmelo's storyline. The Miz came to help Wilson try to get the win, but Melo won with the first 48. And then The Miz delivers a skull-crushing finale on Mello to keep the feud going. Now, Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. What's the purpose of this match? Maybe to get Bliss and Charlotte next week, because Charlotte is going to face Nia Jax next week. Maybe to get Bliss and Charlotte ready for a split and a singles run after the tag team is done. So they made Bliss win the match after this, or Nia Jax after a distraction from Charlotte. Next we're going to have Rey Fenix versus Tala Tonga, and it was pretty funny when Rey Fenix stood on something just to be at Tala Tonga's height. And we will have a women U.S. title match next week with Chelsea Green and Julia. Now, will Julia relinquish the title to Chelsea to go after Tiffany after Saturday night's main event, if Tiffany is still champion? That's a possibility. Maybe they want to give the title back to Chelsea to liberate Julia to go after the title. So we'll see more about that next week. And the last match of the evening was JC Mateo and Tama Tonga versus the Motor City Machine Guns. So that's two tag matches for Tama Tonga and JC Mateo in 2 weeks. And I think they're preparing them for a run with the tag team titles. MFT wins after a distraction from Solo Sikoa. And the way I see things develop right now, and people are not going to like that, because that's not the War Games match that people envisioned. And I think they had to go another direction because of Seth Rollins' injury. So after the match, they started attacking the Motor City Machine Guns. Rey Fenix came in to try to even the odds, but it was 5-on-3, so it's not good there either. And then Shinsuke Nakamura came to try to help again, and it's not there. So what I think is coming for War Games is you have the MFT on one side, and on the other side you're going to have the Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Fenix, and the final member will be Sami Zayn. So that's what I think is coming for War Games. And that's it for this segment. So on to the detailed storyline breakdown. So for my detailed storyline breakdown, I decided, after all, to go with Jade Cargill's heel turn that happened on October 24th, and on the turn on Tiffany Stratton, and what's coming in the coming week or maybe month. So just a recap of what happened with Jade Cargill. She came back from injury, from the injury at Elimination Chamber. And since then, she won the Queen of the Ring tournament. She faced Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam for the title, where she lost. And at the time, I was telling people on X that Jade was not ready for a world title run. She also lost a triple threat match against Stratton and Nia Jax for the title. And if you remember, that match had the big botch at the end there, where Tiffy made a drop kick to Jade after her jaded, and Tiffy had to do the prettiest moonsault ever on Nia Jax to keep her title. But I don't think that was supposed to be the finish. I think Tiffy was supposed to steal the victory from Jade, but Nia Jax had to kick out of Jade's finish. So last Friday, October 24th, there was this match with Kiana James versus Tiffany Stratton for the title. And after the match, Julia attacked Stratton, and that's when the heel turn took place, when Jade came in to help Stratton and then attacked her viciously. Now, Jade's in the backstage segment said that she's tired of waiting. She thought that WWE would reward patience, and that she's tired of waiting. She's taking control, and it starts with the WWE Women's Championship. And seeing that she can't win the title by following the rules, she decided that she would do everything to win it. So with this, Jade is becoming, again, the biggest threat to Stephanie's title reign. Their match at Saturday's main event could determine how the Women's World Championship is looking, what the World Women's Championship picture looks for the future, for the near future. Now, what is possibly Jade Cargill's mindset right now? Well, it was like she couldn't win the title at SummerSlam. She couldn't win it on SmackDown after that, in that triple threat. And in her head, she wants the title, and she wants to be a champion in WWE. So she decided to be more ruthless and more focused on what she has to do. And she will do whatever it takes to win the title on Saturday. Well, tonight. Now, she has more confidence in herself. With her power, she can overpower almost any woman on the roster, maybe except Nia Jax and Bianca Belair, but she's injured right now. But confidence is a two-edged sword. It could be good and it could be bad. If you're overconfident, and then it could play against you. Now, that heel turn was calculated. Turning on Stratton keeps her in the title picture, and she's, like I said earlier, she's the biggest threat to Tiffany's title. Now, will she win the title at Saturday night's main event? So, like I said earlier, I think that Jade is still not ready for a world title yet. That's my opinion. But why am I saying that? Well, Jade, and it's not a knock on her talent. It's not that I don't like her. It's not that I hate her. It's just my honest opinion, honest assessment of what Jade is bringing to the table in the ring. If you look at Jade's matches, I don't think they are up to a world championship quality match yet. If you look at Becky Lynch, if you look at Rhea Ripley, if you look at Io Sky, here's my cat coming. If you look at Io Sky, If you look at Stephanie Vaquer, if you look at Charlotte Flair's matches, they're always top-notch matches. Even, I'm talking about Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Right now, their tag team matches, look at what they did in the main event last Monday. That match was boom. Other people with great matches. Bailey. Even Lyra Valkyria is getting to that top-notch world championship quality matches. And I think that Jade is not there yet. Will she win Saturday? It's possible, because that heel turn was so violent, and well, I expected it when it happened, because when she raised Tiffany's arm, I knew right then and there that she would turn on her on the spot. And maybe WWE will want to capitalize on that heel turn right then and there Saturday. Will that happen? I don't know. And if Jade doesn't win Saturday, it could feel like a wasted heel turn. Just a little bit like when Asuka came back in the Royal Rumble in 2023. She won the Elimination Chamber, and then she lost at WrestleMania. And back then, I was like, man, they just wasted that whole new Asuka character. She did win the title at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, but that victory had a lot less impact because she lost at Mania on her big return. And with the persona change and everything. And I've been saying for 2 years now that Asuka character change with the new makeup and everything was a bit wasted when she lost at Mania. Same thing would apply here with Jade Cargill. But if she doesn't win, like I said, there are ways to avoid wasting that heel turn. Here are some examples. Have Tiffany escape with victory, not with the prettiest moonsault ever. That would be a clean victory, a neat victory on Jade, and that would destroy Jade's momentum. We don't want that. So Tiffany could escape with the victory by the skin of her teeth, maybe with a roll-up or something, a surprise roll-up on Jade, and then Jade could get up and re-attack Tiffany and come out on top for the night. And that would not waste Jade's heel turn. Second option, having Jade lose by disqualification using a foreign object, maybe the title belt. Why not? We see that a lot these days, but it could be a way. Another way to do this, having Tiffany win because of a DQ outside of interference, maybe by Julia and Kiana James, that would prevent her from winning the championship. It would not waste Jade's heel turn, and that could be setting up for a match, maybe a three-way match, a triple threat with Julia, Tiffany, and Jade, where Tiffany could beat Julia to keep her title and go on maybe to other ventures, and having Jade going for the U.S. title after that against Julia, and maybe take the title from Julia. So that's what I think is going on right now with this storyline. Jade is going to be a champion. She's going to be a world champion one day. Will it be tonight? Like I said, it could be, but they could avoid pulling the trigger too with those 3 ways to get out of there. Maybe another way of getting that out of there, if she's ready to come back, would be that for Bianca Belair to come in and save maybe Tiffy or something, and then you can have a match between you. You can have a feud with Jade and Bianca. Bianca could say, hey, what the hell you're doing? And Jade could attack Bianca, and that could be setting up a feud between Bianca and Jade going all the way to WrestleMania. So anyway, let's go to my opinion. Okay, so should women in WWE have their own 2-hour developmental NXT show? My answer is yes. As long as you make 2 different NXT programs. NXT for men and WNXT for women. And why am I saying that? Well, right now, women in WWE right now are the best thing going in WWE. I've said it numerous times, and I'll say it again. In the majority, if not all, the PLEs, the best match of the night was a women's match. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania 41. By far the best match of the night. If you look at other matches, just the main event we saw last Monday, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. That was a hell of a match, and it was the main event of Raw. I don't know if it's because the women have a chip on their shoulder and they constantly want to prove their worth, but they're doing the job. I can't say anything else about that. They're doing the freaking job. Let's go, Ross. Let's go and check out the Raw roster. The Raw women's roster, I think, is completely stacked. You got Stephanie Vaquer, which is the world champion right now. You got Becky Lynch with the Intercontinental Championship. You got Rhea Ripley. Well, she's injured right now, but she's there. You got Io Sky. You got Asuka. You got Kairi Sane. You got Liv Morgan. You got Bayley. You got Roxanne Perez. You got Lyra Valkyria. All those women could be world title contenders right now or in the near future. And I'm not even mentioning Raquel Rodriguez. So you look at this and you can have feuds, you can have 5-star matches, you can have banger matches all over the place. Kairi Sane is not yet at main event level, but if they play their cards right with the storyline that she's in right now with Asuka, that could very well lead to a main event status for Kairi Sane. Just look at one video I made, Asuka's future, and you'll see what I mean. Let's take a look now at the SmackDown roster. You got Tiffany Stratton, the Women's World Championship champion. You got Julia as the U.S. champion. You got Nia Jax. You got Jade Cargill. Okay, Nia Jax is not that good, but she's a lot better than she was when she broke Becky's nose. You got Charlotte Flair, which is the tag team champion right now. You got Alexa Bliss, which is the other half of the tag team champions. You got an injured Bianca Belair. You got Nikki Cross. Well, she's not used in matches, but she's still there. You got Michin. You got Kiana James. You got Zelina Vega. You got Alba Fire. You got Chelsea Green. Now, the SmackDown roster needs help. There's not... Tiffany Stratton is the champion, and I would dare to say almost by default. Now, she's getting a title match against Jade Cargill tonight at Saturday's main event. I just talked about that. We'll see how it goes. But the SmackDown women's roster needs help. Who could go there? One person I would see, well, right now I would see two person going there that are ready right now. Lash Legend, she had a couple of matches on SmackDown back when she was teamed with Jakara Jackson. But Lash, even though she never won a title in NXT, could be a good addition to SmackDown. But right now she's at NXT and it's okay. And the other one would be Jordynne Grace. But Jordynne Grace is doing her thing right now in the NXT. But there's something, they need to do something about the SmackDown women's division. It needs improvement. It needs something. And one thing that could be done is having, well, in a couple of months, having Asuka win the Royal Rumble, Asuka and Kairi Sane go to SmackDown, and Asuka could challenge Tiffany Stratton for the title. If you take a look now at NXT's roster, and I think that the NXT roster is stacked as well. It's very good. You got Fatal Influence, JC Jane, Fallon Henley, Lady Reed. You got Sol Ruka. You got Zaria. You got Blake Monroe. You got Kelani Jordan, the TNA Knockouts champion. You got Jordynne Grace. You got Lash Legend. You got Jada Parker. You got Izzy Dame. You got Tatum Paxley, which is the NXT Women's World Champion right now. You got Carmen Petrovich. You got Kendall Ray. You got Ren Sinclair. You got Thea Hale. Of course, not all of them are NXT Women's Champion material right now. But just go back maybe a year and a half ago, Thea Hale versus Roxanne Perez. What a match it was. Carmen Petrovic, a lot of rumors are saying that she could be the person added to the Secret Harvest with Chelsea and Alba. So the NXT roster is stacked. And that's where I'm going with this. That's why I think that NXT women and NXT men should be separated into two separate programs. And I'm pretty sure that with two separate programs, I'm pretty sure that the NXT women's program matches would be better than the men's. I would not be surprised at all. Now, the other thing I would also do is I would scrap altogether Evolve and LFG concepts and integrate in every member of the rosters, different rosters in NXT. Financial and staff resources could be reallocated to the NXT women's and men's program. I would also occasionally use Raw and SmackDowns on underutilized wrestlers to add more star power and improve ratings, at least to start the program. Maybe having a Rhea Ripley, having an Io Sky, having a Chelsea Green go to NXT Women's. Maybe do a couple of matches there. And that would bring up the star power and everything, and get eyes on that program. And you can do the same with the men's NXT too. Now, the pros of the idea. Why it's a good idea? Well, it would give real exposure to the women in NXT. Wrestling with Raw and SmackDown women, especially, like, just one example. Take a woman like Natalya, bring her down to NXT to do a couple of matches with up-and-coming NXT girls, and they could benefit greatly from her experience. That's what I mean by bringing Raw and SmackDown wrestlers down, underutilized wrestlers down to NXT occasionally to help the girls improve faster, give more visibility to NXT talent, and more time for each title storyline. Because right now, if it's the same problem we have on Raw and SmackDown, there's too many titles to be defended, to have storylines around each title for Raw, for SmackDown, and for NXT. Now, Raw and SmackDown, like I said in one of my videos, they could be respectively the program where the Intercontinental and the US title are defended exclusively or almost exclusively. You could do almost the same thing with the NXT, but you need to have those two NXT titles in the main storylines, in the programs, to get interest in the product. Now, the cons of those ideas. A lot of people are not really interested in women's wrestling, and that's unfortunate. And unpopular opinion here, a lot of the people that don't like women's wrestling are misogynistic men. Women's wrestling is not good. Well, maybe you should take a look, because it's damn fucking good. Too many programs can be detrimental to the overall product. When you have too many programs, maybe people can get jaded, pun intended, or they can get fed up of seeing wrestling. I wouldn't, but you can have all this. And it would be difficult to have mixed factions. Now, why not? I would say you can still have mixed factions, men and women, and they could appear on each other's programs, but the men would not wrestle on the women's program, and the women would not wrestle on the men's program, unless it would be a mixed tag match. And why not maybe even a mixed tag division? Why not? Maybe I'm going to make an opinion on this in a future podcast. So the structure would be two main storylines for the titles of each brand, NXT and WNXT. And I would bring back the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. That would give women tag teams really something to fight for. And the structure, of course, you have the main storyline, you have main title storyline, you have North American title storyline, you would have a tag team title storyline, and why not a couple of storylines on the side there, feuds between two or four, or two wrestlers or two tag teams for maybe a chance to get a title match later on. So I think that the women would develop even faster than they are right now. They would have more exposure. We could have 3 solid women's division with one NXT that could see talent from all 3 brands occasionally, which could help the younger talent. So tell me what you think about this. I want to hear your take. I want to hear your opinion. I want to read your opinion in the comments. But I think that WWE, especially, they want to push women's wrestling. We had Evolution. We had Evolution 2. And I think that a 2-hour program, NXT, for women is the natural evolution of this. So on to the booking room. Okay, so October 20th, JD McDonough and Finn Balor lost the Tag Team Championship, the World Tag Team Championship, to AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. I'm going to call them the Phenomenal Dragons. I saw that name go a little bit on Twitter there. So, yeah, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to still call it Twitter. So, Dragon Lee, AJ Styles are the new World Tag Team Champions. And, of course, JD and Finn are going to try to go after the titles to regain them. So if I was head of creative, here is how I would book this for the next 4 weeks. Because I think that Dragon Lee and AJ Styles are going to be transitional champions. Now, all this depends on the plans of WWE for War Games, Survivor Series. If Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are involved in any way, or AJ and Dragon Lee, I doubt that AJ and Dragon Lee would be involved in War Games. And with the injury to Seth Rollins, whatever is going to happen with that, I don't know. Maybe they're going to scrap the idea altogether. Or maybe Bronson and Braun Breaker are going to be revealed, are going to be going to War Games. So, but if I was here, head of creative, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker would not be involved in War Games right now. I would have other plans for that. And that's what I'm going to go with right now. So next Monday, November 3rd, Finn Balor and JD McDonough go to Adam Pearce and demand to have their rematch for the tag team titles for next week. Now, Pearce reluctantly accepts, but since JD beat Sheamus last Monday on October 27th, he accepts. So we have another segment backstage where Finn and JD go to see Dominic with Roxanne and Raquel, and they ask Dom to help them regain the World Tag Team Championships. And Dom says, well, I'll see what I can do or whatever. Dom is Dom. He wants to be the leader of the Judgment Day right now. That's how I see what's going on right now. So, following week, November 10th, match between the Judgment Day and the Phenomenal Dragons. And Finn and JD lose the match because of a mistake from Dominic. Now, what would that mistake be? Maybe Dom goes to take the hammer from the ring announcer and goes to hit either AJ or Dragon Lee, but let's say for sake of argument, it's AJ Styles, and he goes to hit AJ Styles with the hammer, but instead he hits JD McDonough. AJ Styles clamps on the Styles Clash. 1, 2, 3. Match over. And Judgment Day don't win the title back. We go backstage. Finn and JD are pissed at Dom and they blame Dominic for the loss. Now Dom says, well, I will fix this. I will fix this. I'll go see Adam Pearce. So you'll have another match, and you're going to regain those titles. But then he doesn't go to see Pearce. He wants to remain the only man in Judgment Day with a title. Now, if Raquel and Roxanne regain the titles, all good for them. But he wants to be the only title holder in Judgment Day in order to be considered the leader of Judgment Day. So the following week, Finn and JD go see Adam Pearce to see if Dom fixed things and to see when does their match take place. And Pearce says, well, you don't have a match with the Phenomenal Dragons. Well, I'm going to call them the Phenomenal Dragons. But you don't have a match with the World Tag Team Championship. No, Dom didn't come to see me. Dom didn't come to talk to me about that. And AJ Styles and Dragon Lee already have a title match tonight against the New Day. So, again, Finn and JD go backstage, and now they're pissed again at Dom. But that's all we're going to have for Judgment Day right now. I made another video a while ago about Finn Balor's future, where I talk about the Finn Balor's future babyface turn. So maybe you can go and check this out, because that's a storyline that I would have that I would like to see. Now, November 17th, New Day versus the Phenomenal Dragons, and the Phenomenal Dragons win the match. But after the match, Paul Heyman comes out of backstage in the aisle, and he starts praising AJ Styles. He starts praising Dragon Lee. He starts sucking up to them like only Paul Heyman can do. And he challenges, in the name of the Vision, he challenges the Phenomenal Dragon to a tag team match, a tag team title match for Survivor Series. So Heyman and Breakker and Bronson Reed go backstage, and they start talking about the title match. And you see that Braun Breaker does not want to get involved with a tag team title, because he's talking about going after the World Heavyweight Championship, because he wants the Vision to have it back. So he wants the Vision to have the title. So Survivor Series comes, and Paul Heyman says, Paul Heyman says he has a plan, and just trust him. So Survivor Series come, Phenomenal Dragons are in the ring, and they're expecting Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed to come out, and they do, but this time, instead of having matching gear like they had at SummerSlam, they don't have matching gears. So right then and there, you say, oh, something's brewing there. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, they get to the ring, and then Paul Heyman does his thing. My name is Paul Heyman, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, you will face the Vision tonight, but you're not facing Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. You're going to face Bronson Reed and this guy. And then you hear A-Town Down with Austin Theory coming out. And he's the one that's going to join Bronson Reed in the match, in the tag team match for the World Heavyweight Champion, the World Tag Team Championship. Sorry. So that's gonna liberate Braun Breaker to go after the World Heavyweight Championship, and you have a new member in the division. And of course, to maximize the impact of Austin Theory's arrival, the New Vision win the tag team titles at Survivor Series when Theory does the A-Town down on Dragon Lee, and he just places Dragon Lee right there for the tsunami. 1, 2, and 3. Ding, ding, ding. And you have brand new World Tag Team Champions. And the New Vision will, with Austin Theory and Bronson Reed, are going to go out and into a dominant World Tag Team Championship run. So that is how I see the next month for the World Tag Team Championship. So on to the preview interaction segment. So next week, I haven't decided yet what's going to be my storyline breakdown. I'm thinking about maybe what's in store for the Kabuki Warriors going after the tag team titles. I'm going to see if Jade Cargill wins the title tonight, and maybe go. Maybe that could be my booking room next week with Jade Cargill's title run if she wins the title. If not, maybe I'll go with booking room with Tiffany Stratton. But for my storyline breakdown, I'm going to see, or maybe if we have a Jey Uso or a CM Punk victory. So I'll decide what's going to be my storyline breakdown during the next weekend, the next few days. My opinion next week. Should WWE have more managers? Should they come back with managers like in the old days? And Paul Heyman does an extraordinary job. Paul Heyman is a god on the mic, and he's a manager for Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and maybe Austin Theory coming. I just talked about that in my booking room. So, but Paul Heyman is not the manager we had in the 80s and 90s with Bobby Heenan, with Classy Freddie Blassie, with Luscious Johnny Valiant. So those managers we had, one nostalgic, when nostalgia hits us here at Quebec, we are thinking about Eddie the Brain Creechman. He was so good. That guy was so good in the province of Quebec back then in the 80s. I have fond memories of that when I was a kid. So that's a little preview of next week. Now, interaction with my viewers and everything. In one of my previous videos titled 11 Titles, One Problem, Why Are WWE's Weekly Shows Are the Answer, where I essentially saying that the Intercontinental and US titles should almost exclusively be defended on Raw and SmackDown. Now, at Lashy Cutting, I hope I pronounce it right. That's a YouTube handle. Asked me in the YouTube comments the following question. What if an Intercontinental or U.S. title feud is hotter than the World Heavyweight Championship storyline at that moment? And that viewer gave me the example of Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria match and storyline that was better at that moment in that viewer's opinion. My answer is, I did say that the mid-card title should mainly be contested on Raw and SmackDown, but nothing is preventing those titles from being featured on PLEs, especially two-night PLEs like WrestleMania or SummerSlam. In fact, those two-night PLEs would need those matches. Okay, so tonight, it's Saturday night's main event. And I'm going to make a couple of short predictions. CM Punk versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, my guess is that this is going to end in a no contest when Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed interfere in the match, attacking both Punk and Jey Uso. That could start the story going up to War Games if WWE plans on having the Vision and some allies versus Punk and Jey and some allies at War Games. But I don't think we will have a new champion tonight. Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Rusev in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. I know a lot of people want Penta to win. I know some people want Rusev to win. But I think Dominic is going to retain. Like I said last week, they make Dominic win his matches more and more by himself. And that's going to be the case there. He's going to steal the victory from either Penta or Rusev. Because one of them is going to hit his finishing maneuver on the other. Let's say it's Penta. He hits... Penta can hit the Canadian Destroyer on the Rusev. Or Rusev can hit the Machka kick on Penta. And Dom will just take the guy that hit his finishing move, throw him out the ring, and pin the other opponent right then and there, 1, 2, 3, stealing the victory from either Penta or Rusev, and retaining his title. Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton for the Women's WWE Championship. Like I said in my storyline breakdown, Jade's heel turn would be almost wasted if she doesn't win the title. But that wouldn't be the first time that would happen. I remember 2 years ago, Asuka came back at the Royal Rumble, and she did win at WrestleMania, and I felt like that new persona from Asuka was totally wasted. But later, Asuka did win the title later on. If Jade wins, we could be looking at Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania for the title. So if is Jade gonna win? I don't know. It all depends on what WWE wants to have. Do they want Jade to have a couple of major feuds before winning the title? Maybe. The heel turn is just happened. If you want to have a solid impact on Jade Cargill's turn, you make her win the title. But like I said in my storyline breakdown, there are some ways to make that the turn is not wasted and Jade doesn't win the title. Other point is Saturday night's main event a good place to have a title change like that? It could happen. So it's very tough to predict this one. Logic would make it that Jade would win the title. So I'm going to go with Jade Cargill winning the women's championship. But I have my doubts. Okay. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Now, I would be surprised to have two title changes on the same night. And the only reason why they would make one title change would be to have, you should always watch our programming because anything can happen. If Tiffany retains, this title could change hands. But I think Cody will retain, but get attacked by Drew McIntyre after the match to set up a future match, Drew versus Cody, just to make it that the feud is not over. Now, if Drew wins the title at some point, either tonight or down the road, maybe at the Royal Rumble, it could set the stage for a title run that would go all the way to WrestleMania. And that would be the object of a future booking room for me. So as we speak, those four matches are set for Saturday night's main event. Now, I'm going to end with this week in history, in WWE history. November 1st, I'm going back to Survivor Series 1990, November 1st. So on this very day, 35 years ago, The Undertaker was making his debut in WWE. So that's it for me this week. If you like what you heard, just leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week. That's it for this week, and thank you for listening to the Wrestling Analyst podcast, Beyond the Bell. If you loved what you heard, smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the action. Got opinions? Share them in the comments. I want to hear your take. So until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and keep going beyond the bell.